Hi, welcome to the Bag Makers Society. Welcome to the podcast. So, I want to make a little bit of an apology first because um, I'm not 100% today. I'm a little bit poorly. I've been up most of the night with this cough. So, if I have a little bit of a coughing fit, I am going to put you on mute so you don't have to listen to my coughing. And apologies for my voice not being very good. So, so bear with me. So tonight's episode, as you can see by the title, is Emma from Studio 77. I say this every week. You're probably sick of me saying it, but I am really excited to be speaking to Emma from Studio 77. If you haven't heard of Emma before, she is an amazing bag designer. She has come from a background of costume design. So she has designed costumes for the likes of Star Wars and Harry Potter. So if we have any Star Wars or Harry Potter fans in the house, you'll be very excited to ask her questions on that. And yes, so she now designs bag patterns, as well as having the Bag Makers box and the 77 Club. So we can hear all about that and how she got into what she does. So without further ado, let's bring her in and say
Hello.
hello. So this might be a little bit unusual, but I might let you do all of the talking because I think I might lose my voice.
Oh, I'm sorry to you've been poorly. You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, Andy's probably going to go, yay, yes. So yeah, it's since I had I tested negative for COVID, but I'm absolutely positive I had it. I haven't been right since. I just keep having these peaks and troughs of being unwell, and then I'm okay, and then I'm unwell and I'm okay, and just been up all night coughing and spluttering, as Andy will testify. He's saying yay. He's
Oh,
literally
hope it
yay.
passes soon. I'm sure I speak for
So
everyone when I say that.
yeah. So I'm okay. I'm just not okay, if that makes sense. So I'm just croaky, but I shall be fine. I just let you do all the talking,
Well,
which
thank you
I'm
so
sure
much.
we'll be okay with.
Oh, that's all right. It's so
I'm just
nice
going to
to be
mute.
on with you, Deb. Thank you for inviting me on, and hello to everyone in the chat as well. Lots of faces
Well,
I
I'm
recognise.
I'm
Names.
just going to say that it took you long enough.
Ah, you didn't invite me on till today. I'll have you know, Missy.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare! I
Oh.
think we should point out to anybody that's listening, either live or back, that we are friends in real life. We'll get to it. We'll kind of catch everybody
We'll
up
get
in a
there.
little bit. We'll
Yeah.
start though by letting you introduce yourself and telling us a little bit about how you got into bag making.
Thank you. So yeah, thanks for having me on. Finally, no, I won't do any more digs about that. Um, like you said, I'm from Studio 77, which is no, it's that side, and I am a bag pattern designer. I have a bag community where we teach sewing bag tips and tricks, and there's loads of goodies in there. And then we have a bi-monthly subscription box as well. But how I got into bag making was your question. And for over 20 years now, I was making creature costumes for films and TV. And it was very much, wasn't designing, I was making. So it was very much 3D pattern designing, thinking outside the box, using finding materials that hadn't been used before, finding solutions to things that hadn't been, made before. Loved it, but it was with a family. It's very, very difficult. So I knew I needed to find a way out. So, and a lot of people in the film world have little sidelines and side hustles. So when my eldest was born, she's now 13. Around about when she was about 6 months, I started Studio 77. But I started it where I was making toys and gifts direct to consumer, direct to, Joe Blogs, who was looking for a nice gift for their child, mainly children's toys and gifts. And that was great. And I did that for a couple of years alongside the film work. And then I was on an amazing job, but it was a particularly strenuous job hours wise. Layla was about 3, I think. Yeah, she was 3. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I didn't see her for 6 months, Monday to Friday. And so I quit, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say quote unquote because I stayed part-time for a couple of years alongside Studio 77. And then in COVID, like a lot of people, I started a YouTube channel. And then from the YouTube channel, I kind of went into bag making and using all my 3D skills from the film world into bags, because it was just a natural progression. And everything else came from that, really. Yeah.
That's like such an amazing progression. I've just been showing all of the comments of everybody
Oh,
saying hi.
yeah.
And I loved Sue's comment there, and if and
Yeah.
it starts bickering between friends. Um we do like to pull each other's leg, don't we?
We do, yeah.
We do, yeah. Yeah. But it's such an amazing progression of how you're able to take the skills, and such amazing skills, of the costumes that you've created over the years, and
Okay.
take them into such another direction of bags and other things as well, because you do create slight other things as well as bags sometimes,
Yeah.
and other patterns, and yeah, it's fascinating.
Thank you.
I love it.
Oh, thank
And
you.
some of the bags that you create as well, when you release them, like the current one that you've got, the Vicky May,
Mhm.
that's released in public.
Mhm.
That front
Cool.
pocket, when I saw that I was like, wow, like how, like that's a feat of engineering. I'd
Oh,
never
thank
ever
you.
be able to work that out. I just don't have the math skills. I'm quite good at maths, but not like that's physics. That's really,
It's
that's
funny
some
because
feat of engineering.
oh, thank you. I think maths wise, like I always have to use a calculator with all
Mm-hmm.
any like, even adding simple sums, I'm terrible at maths. But construction wise and like spatially wise, I guess, I don't know if there's a term for that. I guess from all the patterning and everything that I've done through my career, it just sort of naturally I can piece things together quite quickly and
Mm-hmm.
easily, and I guess that is kind of a maths, like you say, like a physicsy thing. I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you.
So do you construct physically and then go onto the computer and design it for PDF, or do you design in the computer and then construct physically?
It
Because I know a
depends.
lot of designers design
Yeah.
so differently.
Yeah. So it depends what kind of bag it is. So sometimes I will design on the flat on paper. Sometimes I physically like to do it on paper. So I have been instructed to make my youngest
One
daughter a
second,
backpack. You
I
right?
can. Grumpy's listening to the podcast, and I can hear it.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm just gonna ask him to turn his down slightly.
But yeah, so sometimes I will do it on the flat and I will just have some brown paper and I will draw it all out. And my youngest wants me to make her a backpack for school.
Yeah.
Yes, I have left it late. She's going back on Tuesday,
Oh,
but that's how I roll. I love a
thank you,
deadline.
darling. He's just turning it down. It was just in case anybody else could hear it. I am coming through this. So,
No
sorry,
worries.
people. He
No
likes
worries.
to listen and keep us all
Oh.
right.
Yeah, but then sometimes, like the Vicky May, because I knew the size and I knew the construction and everything, I didn't really have to think it out too
Mhm.
much. I just went straight into Illustrator. I always use Illustrator, and I just went straight in there, sort of designed out the sizing. I always have a tape measure with me, a physical tape
Yes.
measure, to see it visually, because even though it's on the screen and it says however many centimeters, I usually do it in
Mhm.
centimeters, it is. Sometimes I need to equate what that means in real life. Um,
Yeah.
so even if I don't draw it out in flat pattern pieces, the other thing is if it's curved, I'll nearly always do it on brown paper. I have a big roll of brown paper, so that's what I use.
Mhm.
I've had that, I think, yeah, I've had it 20 years and it's still going.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was a good investment.
it was. Yeah,
That's earned its keep.
it sure has. Yeah, I bought it because with costume stuff we always do, paper patterns. So I
Mhm.
bought it back then for that. I had a few jobs at home, and it just comes in handy. It's almost at the end, I have to say, but yeah.
It's
So
definitely been worth it though.
It has, yeah. It wasn't
Mhm.
that expensive to begin with, but yeah. Yeah, so sometimes on the flat, sometimes on Illustrator, and sometimes if I need to work out the construction methods, I will do it. Sometimes even like cut it out on the flat and piece it all together and just work out exactly how I'm
Mhm.
going to do it. With certain things, I've had to do that, but mostly it's straight into Illustrator or just on the flat on paper.
It's so interesting to sort of see what the working out process is. Sort of only ever having seen it at the end.
Yeah.
Sort of like how that concept goes from being in your imagination to it then being the end product. It's so clever. It really is
Oh,
so
thank
clever.
you.
So Melanie's saying she can't believe that you're terrible at maths. All those calculations on your patterns. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you, Mel. Thank you.
Oh.
Lovely,
And
Mel.
she's lovely. Oh, Grumpy saying sorry, turned it down. um, and Melanie's also saying, which bag did you wear to Taylor Swift? Did you make it especially?
I wore the other version of this. So there's 3 versions of the Vicky May. This is version number 2. Version number 1, I think, or maybe I wore this one. It was this one or the Vicky May 2, which has got a large one front pocket.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
one I've got, yeah.
Yeah, and I wore this because, as you know, Mel, because you were with me at the Stitch Festival. I nearly said knitting and stitching show then. I was on the hunt for. I made my own outfit. Well, I didn't. I cheated with the trousers in the end,
Mm-hmm.
but I made my daughter's outfit, which is why I then didn't make so much of my
Yeah.
outfit.
Your daughter's outfit was
The
fantastic.
Taylor, thank you. Yeah, and so I made I went with Taylor's. I think it was the Grammys or Emmys, one of the awards, and she wore and if you're a Taylor fan, you're probably going to know what this is, but she wore like an orange boob tube, and then she had a fuchsia pink skirt. So I didn't want to wear a boob tube, probably for obvious reasons. So I made an orange top. I did end up cutting it shorter to break it up because in the end, the orange and the pink next to each other just was a bit like too much. Anyway, I didn't have a bag and I didn't have time because I was spending so much time on my daughter's outfit. So I took this because it went with the orange and it picked out the orange. So
Mm-hmm.
it's good having a big stock of bags because you can just pull one
Yeah,
out.
you can just. I've got an IKEA bag full
Yeah,
in the
same.
corner of my room, and I just go.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
have that one. Thank you very much. Um, we'll have another hello there from Hollow Bag Creations.
Hello.
Um, Kathy's saying, what program do you use to create your patterns?
So I use Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. I have the Adobe Suite anyway because I use Premiere Pro for editing all my YouTube videos. And then I obviously have Illustrator together with that because you buy it as a suite.
Yeah, it's a
So I
whole
use
package of
Illustrator.
things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Illustrator because if you ever get stuck, all you have to do is go onto, I love Adobe, I should say, because it's the same with all of them, is go onto YouTube and just Google, or even just Google, and it will come up with a YouTube video, how do I do X, Y, Z? And someone has made a video about it, which is just amazing because you don't have to ask in a forum, you don't have to wait. It's just like, yep, that's how you do it, carry on, which is just brilliant. And I'm completely self-taught on all the Adobe products. And that's just how I've learned. And sometimes if I haven't done it for a while, especially like Premiere Pro or something, I'll have to have a refresher. But then again, you just Google it and find the answer.
So are you completely self-taught with your pattern drafting, or have you gone and done a course to learn that? Or
Well, I say yes, but actually, I mean, depends how you look at it. Obviously, I've been doing pattern drafting pretty much my whole life, and I did go to costume and special effects at London College of Fashion. So in that way, yes, I am professionally trained because I did a degree in costume and special effects. So as part of that, I did a year and a half of like your traditional costumes, so all your crinolines, your corsets. We even did millinery. We did all different things, surface design, everything. Yeah, it was really, really fun. And then how the course used to be, you either stayed with that for the next year and a half, so it's 3 years, so it's split into two. You either stayed with that and then went on to different projects within it, or, which is what I did, I then went to what they called technical effects, which merged costume and makeup together. So you either did costume or makeup for the year and a half, and then you went into technical effects. So then it sort of split into three. There weren't many costume people in technical effects, but then I also had to learn some makeup, techniques. Not too much, because they didn't like us to do too much makeup, because politically that was makeup, but that's a whole whole story. And then just use my costume skills and learn new skills, like things like fur replacing, where something that you've probably never heard of before, which is where you might buy, say, a fake fur or even real fur, which I don't like to use. I didn't like to use it then, but I certainly don't like to use it now, because I'm vegetarian, and just, that whole thing a little bit more awoken to that. But anyway, I digress. You get some fur and it doesn't stretch. Nearly all fur, fake or obviously real, is on a base that cannot stretch. Now, if you put that onto a costume which is moving, it needs to stretch, it needs to give, it needs to move with the actor or an animatronic. So I worked a lot with animatronics as well. So sometimes there wouldn't be a human in it, it would be a mechanical sort of skeleton, if you like, or a hand puppet, something like that. But obviously the fur would need to move, right? So you'd have to do this process called fur replacing, where you literally you can do it so that the fur goes all kind of crazy ways as well, and get like little what they call like rosettes in the fur. And so you brush it and clean it how you need to, and then you put masking tape over it, shave the back literally with hair clippers very, very close to the base of the fur, and then you put some glue on and let it dry, and then basically you get a stretchy base, and then you can put that onto the creature. You didn't ask for that technique, but that's
that's so intricate. Like that's a very intricate, time taken, patient inducing skill
and
to have.
It's something that you would never think of. So I worked on X-Men First Class, and I helped to make the Beast. I always say I helped to make, because I was always one of a team. I was never just me on my own. Sometimes it would be a small team, sometimes it would be a big team, but I was nearly always one of a team. So for the Beast, if you've seen it, he has obviously blue fur. That was real fur, but that was all fur replaced. And then he had loads and loads of different ones, because they were glued on every day, so they would deteriorate when you take the glue off. You use different solvents and stuff. So and then every single appliance, they call it, the makeup pieces, they're pieced on depending on the character, and they would go edge to edge with the like the wig that I made. And so every single one of those would be individually hair punched as well, to get that look. So it takes it into a whole new light when you watch these shows.
And like those skills. Oh, there's my camera gone. 2 seconds.
That's all right.
It likes to switch itself off every now and then. Like I say, every now and then it goes, no, had you know, I'm gone. So those skills that obviously you've developed over like that career are so transferable as well, that I can't imagine that there's anything now that you can tackle that you can't do.
Thank you.
I
don't feel like that. I think, I always, sometimes, like today, what did I do? And I was like, oh, it's so good being creative. Like, I just made pencil cases for the kids. They're very particular. They both wanted, I guess clear is in at the moment. They both wanted clear pencil cases. I wish I could show you, but they've both squirreled them away. And when you do something that's super quick and you're like, you never lose that. Like, I've just made that with my own hands to exactly what they want. But I don't think I can do anything. I will give everything a go, don't get me wrong. But I don't always think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna manage it.
So Sheila's asking, what is your next design planned, and how long do they take when you get to the pattern to the final product?
I can't tell you what my next design is, unfortunately, because so how my pattern designing works is all of my patterns, as I think you know, Sheila. Hello, I've just recognised your name. All of my patterns go into the 77 Club. First of all, they're exclusive to there for 2 months, and club members get all the patterns included in their membership price, as well as everything else. So I can't tell you what it is yet because I haven't revealed it to club members yet, and that wouldn't be fair. But in answer to your other question, is how long do they take to get from pattern to final product? It's around about 8 weeks. So my mum is my pattern editor. She's a word extraordinaire. I don't think she's watching. She shouldn't be watching because she's on holiday in Portugal. So hopefully she's having a lovely time. But yeah, my mum is my pattern editor. So we did sit down and we had to work out logistics of how long and like what was the latest date I could start it for it to be able to come out. Because of course, because I bring them out every quarter into the club, I need to make sure that I am on time, that I don't miss those deadlines at any point. So having that knowledge really helps. So for me, and I'm sure it's different for every designer, it's around about 8 weeks, and that gives the tester team a 2-week period as well. So that doesn't cut that short at all. And I always try and give them as much as I can. So 8 weeks is minimum. We can sort of do it a little bit shorter, but that would cut into my mum's time, which obviously I don't want to do. Bless her. Yeah,
I was just going to ask you there, like how long a period is your testing period?
Yeah, so I try and do 2 weeks. I've heard that some designers do a week, and I've been told that that's not good. But then also, I have also been told that if you give people, or this is from the testers side, not from me, but they have said I don't want too long because then I'll forget about it and I won't do it. So it's that finding that sweet spot. So I try to do 2 or 3 weeks. Or sometimes I do like, I think we've got, so it went out around the 20th, and I've said to be back on the 1st of September. So yeah, I guess that's like 2 weeks. So yeah, so it just depends, but try and give as much as I can.
Diane, I'm presuming this is going back to the fur. Said, did you do that for Chewbacca?
Chewbacca was a little bit different. So Chewie is yak belly hair, which is totally humane to do. I think they just shave the yaks, and then they dye it and do whatever they do to it, and it comes back to us all ginger. But it's obviously like there's different tones in it, just like there is in your normal hair. With Chewie, I was never in the hair, so it all kind of merges into one. But so the fur replacing, because that's like a fabric, you're sort of making a fabric, that would be in my domain in the fabrication department. That's what it was called, the fabrication department, which is all the sewing, the soft sculpture of creatures and special effects costumes. But if you're going into hair punching and hair knotting, that would be the hair department. So a completely different department, which is a whole new or different set of skills. So much like crochet, they'd have like if it was knotting, they'd have like a tiny little crochet hook, like a latch hook, actually more than a crochet hook, and they would go through and literally knot every single hair, if you can believe that. So when you watch Chewie and you see all his hair all flowing and it's completely covered and there's no ball bits, every single hair, and I think I forget the numbers, I feel like it was 5 ladies, 11 weeks to do one suit. And that's 11 weeks of like 10-hour days.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So his head
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. So one of the reasons that I was brought into the job was because I mean, I've tried pretty much every craft. I'm just going to move this out of the way because I keep knocking it. But I've also done a lot of knitting in the past. And I used to do knitting graffiti and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, we've talked about that, haven't we?
Yeah. So they brought me in because I have a lot of knowledge of knitting. So I knitted, he's got what they call a cowl, so he has his face, which is obviously sculpted and then fitted to his face, and then sort of the hairline, if you like, and around and down, and then sort of out into like a flange at the bottom. That was all hand knitted. So I hand knitted all the cowl, and then they knotted into the knitting, because that is exactly how they made the original Chewie in the 70s. And they wanted J.J. Abrams wanted to replicate the exact look of Chewie as much as they could for The Force Awakens, which is the one I did. This is the only Star Wars that I did Chewie for. And then, so they knotted into the knitted cowl, and then the suit was actually Lycra, and they knotted into the Lycra. So I'm guessing it's a slightly different technique. Probably going into the Lycra is a little bit trickier than going into the knitting, because they could go round, obviously, all the stitches. And then we also, for Peter Mayhew, who was the original Chewie, we also did a half knitted suit, so that it was really like the original, so that when he was sat down, he could wear a fully knitted, as you know, same way as it was originally. And we did a lot of R&D into what fibres would be cooler to wear, especially because Peter was in his 70s when he did that, so we obviously wanted to, you know, bear all of that in mind, make him as comfortable as possible. So we used, I think it was bamboo and some other fibre. I forget exactly what we used, but I know it was like, looking at all the different quality things that you wouldn't even think about when you watch it.
I love that they try to make it as authentic as possible to the original.
Yeah, that was JJ completely. I mean, they had special lenses made, especially. He was very, very insistent on it, which was brilliant. But obviously, each director comes in and they put their own stamp on it, and they change things, and they want to do their own thing. But yeah, that was how it was for that one.
Amazing, love it. So Sean says, the dress you made for your daughter for the, is it eras? Era? I'm not.
Eras, yeah.
You can tell I'm not a,
You're not a Swiftie. No.
You know me. Do you even know me? Yeah, the eras to it was awesome. Were you tempted to make something for yourself if you had the time? Yeah, so you made a top, didn't you?
I made the top, yeah.
For
I would have liked to have made a bag in some ways, but also in other ways, I would never have worn the bag again. And I'm very much like, I don't like to. And my daughter, although she was a huge Swiftie when we got the tickets, and she absolutely loved it, don't get me wrong, but she's not like manic Swiftie now like she was. So it's kind of like,
kind of changed so much, don't they, at that age?
Yeah. So I wouldn't, I don't know. Yes and no. I don't know what other outfit I would have made, to be honest. Although what blew me away, and if you've never been to a Taylor Swift concert, apologies if you wanted to and you couldn't get tickets, because I know it was a nightmare. But the thing that I didn't expect was how creative it was. Like, everybody.
They're amazing, aren't they? The
costumes. So I could count on one hand how many people didn't have anything Taylor Swift. So loads of people had T-shirts. They'd either bought T-shirts or made them, I presume, using a Cricut or something. But then loads of people had full-on costumes. You know, there was people in like the Reputation, like she has like this snake kind of cat suit. It's just like amazing. The Dead Poets Society, if you know what I'm talking about, with all the skirt, with all the writing, like, just, I kept like going, oh, I want to take a picture of that. And, you know, Layla was like, shh, come on.
I mean, I saw like loads of like things online, and the what people had made, like, say, so creative, and the denim jackets that people sort of, wow. But this will tell you what I'm like. I took Neve, who's now 20, to a One Direction concert in a Sons of Anarchy t-shirt.
That's all right.
That's a type of parent. So, but I am also the type of parent who takes a son who's now 27, but at the time was about 19. I think he was about 19. And he's a massive, he's going to kill me for putting this out on the internet. He's probably going to block me on everything. But he's a massive Justin Bieber fan. He still is. He'll deny it, but he's still a massive Justin Bieber fan. And I took him to Paris to see Justin Bieber. I'd always wanted to go to Paris. He's always obviously wanted to go and see Justin Bieber. So I got tickets. We went. It was amazing. But that's the type of parent I am.
Oh.
And it was unreal. It was so good.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
We've got pictures outside the Sacre-Cœur. I think it was the following morning. It was amazing. beautiful blue skies, beautiful building. I'm absolutely loving life in Paris, beautiful scenery, and he's, yeah, absolutely dying. It
Oh,
was amazing. But that was an amazing concert. It was
oh,
so, so good.
yeah.
Um, Tracy saying, "Do you sell your society t-shirts?" No, no, no. I just bought them online. There's a story, but I'm not going to go into it.
You should sell
Um,
them.
yeah, I should see if I could get them designed somewhere. I actually want to get some bag maker society t-shirts.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I,
I've got
I will
quite a
be
few
buying
of
one.
them now. I've got a few of them in different colours. And I'm trying to tie them in with colours that fit in with having had my colours done, ones that
Ah.
suit me.
Mhm.
But there's not that many actually that fit in with my colour palette. But I'm trying to. But I've got a few of them now. I've got about 2 or 3 colours now, but I do love them. Right, let's go back to the comments.
I don't get my colours done because they're going to tell me that rainbow is not part of it, and I just no refuse that.
Well, I thought I was going to be an autumn. I was adamant I was going to be an autumn. And she went, "You're a summer." And I went, "Shut up." Um, but I'm starting to embrace it. I am starting to embrace it. Sean, who's in the comments, obviously who we met at Festival of Quilts,
Mhm.
she's had her colours done, and she didn't come out at what she thought she was going to. I think off the top of my head of watching Sean's videos, I think she thought she was going to be a summer, but came out as a spring, or the other way around. I can't remember now. But yeah, she didn't come out as what she thought she was. But I was
Oh.
adamant I was going to be an autumn because I love all the browns, the greens, the mustards. Absolutely not. Um, so, right, back to the comments. Stacey says, Emma's next pattern will be worth the wait. Stacey's one
Oh,
of your testers, isn't she? So,
she is, yeah, and a club member as well. Yeah, it's
Stacey has
just
all the gen.
she knows all the knowledge. It's just behind the camera. I'd love to show you, but I can't.
No, you can't see.
But what I will say though is that most of the testers, probably Stacey will agree, have made more than one because it's nice and quick and it will be a good seller if you make
Yeah.
to sell.
I think I might have a little inkling.
You
I
might
might
know what
have a
it
little
is.
inkling.
Yes, you do know. You know what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Jane.
I might be open to a bit bribery. No, I'm joking. Um, Jane says, it's great listening to both of us this evening.
Oh,
And Kathy's saying, wow. I think obviously to the whole knitting of,
the chewy thing,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, that's totally what that's for. Melanie's saying, have you designed any men's bags?
I haven't
Sorry,
actually.
I'm just going to mute because I'm going to cough. 2 seconds.
It's all right. No, I haven't actually, Mel. Honestly, I think I would
We need some
struggle.
grumpy man bags.
Yeah, I think I would struggle only because my husband doesn't really wear or use. He uses backpacks. Maybe I will. Maybe I
Yeah,
will. Who
yeah.
knows? Watch this
Well,
space.
we'll definitely have to have a look at some grumpy man bags.
Yeah,
So,
we can
but
do it. We can do something together.
there's actually 3 down there that he's just kind of cut out of fabric and sewn up himself.
He'll
Obviously,
be designing. He'll be
yeah,
designing next.
when we were at the Stitch Festival, remember when he was
I know.
on my machine? Honestly, he was just cutting out fabric, wasn't he, and ringing us to
And showing
work out how,
us the perfect
yeah,
top stitching, wasn't it?
and how to
Amazing.
rethread my machine. Um, so Sean's saying, I've loved seeing what people have made. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
that's my
amazing.
favourite part of being part of a community is
Mm,
seeing what everybody makes and seeing everybody help each other out.
yeah.
You know, like I don't quite know how to do this, and everybody's helping.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what to make out of this. What can I make? I just love it. I love community. I think it's amazing.
Mm, mm.
There's that I've already done that one. Do you sell your society t-shirts? no, they're not my t-shirts. I just wear them all of the time. Stacey's saying she would wear one if I did.
Get on it. Make us some t-shirts, Deb. Come on. Yes, it is.
Sean's saying rainbow is every season. It
Every
absolutely
season.
is. Yeah. Sean's saying she's a spring. I remember because it was seeing Sean having her colours done that inspired me to have mine done. We're totally off topic here with it being a bag chat, but never mind.
Right.
It's fine. Yeah, it totally inspired me to having my colours done because me and Sean are around about the same age. I'm a little bit older. But I think you kind of get to our age and you kind of lose your way a little bit. You don't want to dress how you used to dress a little while ago. You don't know what style you are, you don't know what colours to wear and what have you. And I just thought I'm gonna have it done, and I was adamant I was going to be an autumn, and I was adamant I was still an hourglass. Yeah, I'm not an hourglass anymore. She was like, "You're a summer apple." I was like, "I'm absolutely not."
Were you like, get out?
It was all done online, just as well for her, I think. So yeah, Sean saying she thought she was going to be an autumn too. So yeah, and it was just so funny that all of the colours that it said to avoid were the ones that are my favourite colours. So I'm embracing it.
You got to do what makes you happy though as well, haven't you? Like,
yeah, I just wear them down here.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Yeah.
So Stacey's saying that she is onto her second, so that's the second bag of the bag that you're going to release.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kathy's saying stop teasing.
That's
Grumpy's
not the
saying
name.
that's not the name. Yeah, Andy, we can't say what the name is. It's live on YouTube. Diane saying, I'll test one.
Did you like the name
T-shirt.
Grumpy?
It's not. He's not on about. He's on about the name for the bags.
Yeah.
Like if on about releasing men's bags.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's the different. It's a different
topic.
So Grumpy gets his name, and it's a self-proclaimed nickname. It's not a name that I've given him. It's he's given himself that nickname just because he's got rest and grump face. Like he just always looks miserable, but he's not miserable. He's lovely. But yeah, it's self-proclaimed. You look fabulous in that purple. Oh, thank you. It's not normally a colour I would go for, but I'm embracing it. Looking forward to seeing the new pattern. It will be well worth it. It will be well worth it. I've seen little snippets.
Yeah. In fact, you were asking about how designing a bag, and like I remember saying to you at the Festival of Quilts, I forgot the name of it then, how nearly always I can just go for it and tweak. Obviously, I have to tweak things. I never get it right first time. Like, I'm not saying that, absolutely not. But this time I was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this. And I made it, and I was like, nah, I don't like it at all, and just went completely back to the drawing board. And it was so ironic after we just had that conversation.
Yeah, it did totally change, didn't it?
Yeah, totally changed. Same concept, completely different.
Yeah. So Diane's saying that she'll test the man bag.
Awesome.
So it's my sewing crew name.
The Grumpies.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll not encourage him anymore. So what are some of your favorite techniques to incorporate into your patterns?
Oh, favorite techniques. I think the hidden strap connector with the turning through. When I first did it, it just was like a natural thing that came to me because I was using fabric that frayed, quilting cotton, and I wanted to put in a strap connector, and all the hidden strap connector techniques that I had seen were for faux leather and things that don't fray. So I was like, well, how am I going to do this? Oh, I'll just do a welt pocket. And if you sew, you know what that means. If you sew clothes, I should say, you know what that means. And so I just kind of did it, and I did a reel about it, and then everyone was like, oh, I've never seen this, because I guess lots of people who go into bag making haven't done dressmaking. So they're not going to cross the two over. Whereas because my background is obviously largely in dressmaking, although I will caveat that in a second, I have a lot of those techniques that I can pull through, and I'm just like, oh, well, I'll just use that for that. I don't sort of abide, and it always, in the costume world, it was the same, that I was never really, I was a couple of times, but 99% of the time I wasn't in a costume workroom. I was in a creature or special effects or special effects makeup workroom. And it's quite a different way of thinking, because in costume, nearly everything has been done before. There's a certain way that you make a pencil skirt, for example. You may pattern it, or the pattern cutter, so it'd always be one person cutting all the patterns. The pattern cutter might cut it slightly differently. There might be pleats, might be this and that, but largely it's going to have been made in a particular way. Obviously there's always exceptions to the rules, but with creatures, nearly always it has never been made before. So you have to think completely afresh and new and bring different ideas in. So I guess I use that same sort of concept, in that I don't really follow the rules and I try and figure things out myself. So sometimes it might be a little bit different to what people are expecting. In terms of techniques, though, I think the hidden strap connectors, I quite like this one. Let me reach over and grab my Genie, which is coming out very soon, of making a strap connector that just goes completely over the top. I know I'm not saying that's my own technique, by the way. But yeah, I quite like that. I think it gives a really nice, a different look. Other techniques.
That like hidden strap connector with like the fraying fabric.
Trying to find one.
Or like
I haven't got
it's
one.
a little bit like a mini zipper opening, isn't it?
Yes,
you know what
exactly.
you do.
I have got one.
And just when you're talking there, it's literally just made me think of Sean. Like when you're watching any of her videos or sew alongs. Yeah. And like she'll often say, how she does it isn't necessarily the right way or the way everyone else does it, but it's how she's found works for her.
Yeah.
And if it works for you, then do it that way.
Yeah.
If another way works for you, do it that way. There's no set in stone way. There's no Bible.
There's no Bible. There's no right or wrong way. As long as you get to the right end result that you want, and it doesn't need to be the perfect result, by the way, but just the result that you want and you're happy with it, then it doesn't matter which way you go.
Yeah, exactly. So Hollow Bag Creation says, I'm on that pattern boat right now. Too many changes. Yeah.
It's always fun.
I can't leave a pattern alone, me. You know what I'm like. I do a pattern once the way that it tells me, and then I'm a nightmare.
See, that's what surprises me when you say that you could never do pattern designing, because you kind of do in a way, because you're changing things as you go.
It's a technical side of it I can do. I could design a pattern with paper and but it's the technical side of it I couldn't do.
But you just teach yourself that.
You know me and technology.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same, if it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technology. It's fun. Always fun.
Sean says that's a gorgeous bag. It is a gorgeous bag.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Sean says also, that's the thing I love about sewing so much. I love that you're bringing dressmaking techniques into bags. That welt is genius for hidden straps.
Thank you. Thanks, Sean.
What do you find? We're probably going to go down a rabbit hole me asking this question.
I better take a drink.
Andy's probably like, right, I need a whiskey. What's the most challenging aspect of running a bag making business, do you find?
I think
We have many conversations along these lines, don't we?
How do I be politically correct? No, I think just having a business as a solopreneur, I don't know if I like that word, but it kind of explains it. I don't have my partner is lovely, he's very supportive, but he is not creative at all. And and I don't mean this in a horrible way, but he's not interested in my business. He's got his own things going on, and that's totally fine.
And he's saying, lucky man.
Yeah. But when I say, other than, like, I do, obviously, like I say, I have my mum, extremely lucky to have her to do the editing, but otherwise everything is on my own, within the house, I'm all on my own. And sometimes I get really frustrated with that when things, when I do have technical problems, which happens quite a lot, unfortunately. That's just how it is. I think you're saying you have technical problems. I think it's just when you're using so much tech and you're relying on things like the Wi-Fi, like the mic to work when you've done everything you did last week and it was working last week and it's not working this week. I think when you have all of that, there is always going to be like some gremlins, unfortunately, unless you've got a team of proper professional tech experts behind you. Like, when you're on Sewing Street, which we haven't talked about, but when you're on, like, TV and do stuff like that, then that's obviously going to have all that, people, it's an absolute dream because you don't have to think about anything. But yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh there. I've just seen a comment further down. I didn't mean to laugh as you were talking there. Carry on. Sorry.
There's a choice. But I think, going back to the question, yeah, I think just trying to muddle through and do everything on your own. But with that said, I've had to find, and I'm grateful that I found, your camera's turned off, an amazing community online. And I had it when I was going through the YouTube journey, when I was trying to get monetized and grow my channel. I found an amazing community. I was very lucky that it was during lockdown. And so I managed to find them during that, and that really helped me keep going, and the accountability. And then, finding people like you, Deb, so they can just, I know we can like chat about ideas. I know that there's no competition between us. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to steal that idea and do X, Y, Z. And likewise, so just finding people like that has been absolutely priceless. But yeah, I'm not going to lie. Like, sometimes you do have really low times when you're like, why is this not working? What's going on with this part of the business? Or it looks all rosy, just like everything else on social media, looks all rosy in front of the camera. And that's usually when all of that stuff is going on. I won't swear, but when the proverbial hits the fan, it's usually right around the time when the universe throws you a nice little troll into the mix just to really brighten up your day. But luckily, I do get really, really, really lovely emails and comments and things like that. So on the other side of the coin, the universe also sends me these people, probably you in the comments are watching, who send me really lovely messages saying, I had a coffee, whatever you call it, support today. Not that I'm going through that at the moment, but it's just so nice because it really brightens up your day. And to know that people, because you put these things out and you just hope that people are enjoying them, and sometimes you don't hear from people. So yeah, I recommend if you are, enjoying any creator, just write a little comment and let them know. It really does help keep us all going and keep doing what we're doing.
It can be hard, can't it, when you work on your own?
Yeah.
And you don't have that, you're not working in an office, you're not surrounded by people to go and do a coffee run or what have you, to kind of keep you bolstered and keep you going. It can be hard when you have a really rough day to not kind of chuck it all.
Oh yeah,
I've had enough, because you've had the tech issues. Like my mic yesterday screaming at me. It's never ever done it before. The minute I'm going on a live masterclass that I'd had all prepped and perfectly set up, and I go live and my mic screamed, and I'm like, and it's sorted. I just disconnected the mic and I used the mic on my camera, but it was like, why? And it's not doing it today. And I was like,
I think people do understand though that,
but it was fine.
We're
and
human.
It sorted itself out, and I was like, count to 10, and
but
I have people like you that I can message, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that blooming Mike, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it's just taking those few seconds, isn't it, to sort of go,
Yeah.
it's okay,
Yeah.
but it can be difficult, and you just have to have those sort of things in place to kind of counteract.
Yeah.
And yeah, but
And
it can be difficult, sort of like managing those challenges when you do work on your own, and
yeah.
you rely so heavily on tech in an
Yeah.
online world.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I would say, like,
It's
if you're
fun.
ever, if you are struggling, like if I am struggling, like I've just joined a membership that's going to teach me something new for my business. And so I think, and I've talked to you about that, Deb, but if you are struggling with something like that, having a membership, that's why I started my membership, because having a membership really helps for accountability. It gives you all those tips and those tricks along the way. I know that you've got your membership as well, Deb, and it's just so nice having that community to support, which is what I've found in my journey, particularly in bag making and YouTube and everything else. It can be really, like you're saying, quite lonely. And I don't know any local bag makers or even people that sew regularly. So having that community and being able to build that community has been really, really lovely.
See, this is where you're going wrong. I drag them all along to my local community centre once a month and feed them tea and cake. So yeah. So Hollow Bag Creations is saying you could totally write patterns. It's just breaking down what you know and reconstructing it into something new. Yeah, it's getting it on the computer. I think I would struggle with. Andy's saying this is what I was laughing at before. He says there's a choice. Question mark. Interesting. No, love, you don't have a choice. Donna, if I get caught talking to myself, I say I'm just having a staff meeting. Yeah, do you know when I talk to myself the most when I'm in the car? I mean, not that I'm in the car much because I don't leave the house very often, but honestly, I'm driving along and I literally have conversations with myself, and I mean, not even in my head, full on conversations to myself, and yeah, like I hope people think I'm just singing along to something in the car, because anybody looking in will think, my goodness, like she needs the hand of a responsible adult, because
Oh, I was totally
yeah.
I don't know what I was doing, cooking or something the other day, and I was talking to myself about all the different things that I've got to do, like, oh, I've got to do this, da, da, da. And then my husband was like, who are you talking to? I was like, me.
Yourself, mate, because it's the only way
He's
I get
like,
a reasonable answer.
he's like, she's finally lost it. She's lost the
Yeah.
plot.
So, oh, bless him. Andy says, you both
Oh.
create amazing content that supports people every day.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Well said, done, Paula.
Elaine says,
Oh.
how hard on it. Yeah, it's very true. Oh, Paula says, well said, Grumpy.
Thank you.
That's because you bring us the
Oh,
cakes.
I didn't say it to get all these lovely comments. That's really kind.
Oh, I've got loads of comments. I'm lost where I'm up
Oh.
to. Right. Tracy says, oh, you're both inspirational. Oh, that's lovely, Tracy.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
Thanks, Diane.
Diane says, you're both awesome. Oh, God, I could keep this going all night. Melanie says, so good to have a bag community, so helpful. It is.
Oh, thanks.
And that's one of the things that when I started bag making and I started joining groups, and then obviously created my Facebook group, that I just loved so much is when I was stuck with something that I could just go and ask, and these people just came and answered, and I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's just unreal. We should do
Yeah,
a Surrey
we should.
Stores bag making session. You absolutely should.
We should, Mel.
Bit far for me to come, but I could talk Andy into driving. He's going to shout through. Absolutely not.
You got somewhere to stay. I'm just going to mute because I need to cough.
Sheila says, fab idea, Mel. I mean, I got him to drive to Macclesfield for a cup of coffee and a cake, so, you know.
Oh.
Donna's Embroidery Plus says, I wish I had a community out here to join, but I'm glad I have an online community to learn from.
Oh.
Where are you from, Donna? Put in the chat, because you never know. Sean says fabulous sewn communities are wonderful. They really are. And it's Sean's fault that I love bag making. I keep saying it, but it is because it was because of Sean that I found the NCW, which I will always have a love affair with. So Tracy says, I can't wait to receive my bag makers box. Oh, I know.
They're going out next. Well, I'm going to pack them next week. Whether they're going to go out next week, it'll probably be the week after. We haven't even talked about that, but yeah, not long now.
Yeah, we've got a few minutes. We'll squeeze it in. Donna says, I have conversations with my sat nav. I'm not going that way. I'm not going that way. Or does anybody else see the sat nav and see how long it says it's going to take and think, yeah, mate, that's not I'm going to beat that.
Yeah.
Lynn says, me too, Deb. I see I'm the only one I can get any sense out of. Yeah, that's absolutely me. Melanie says, when do you start planning the Christmas boxes? Oh, Melanie, they're already planning.
Yeah. So I try and think throughout the year. If I see things or I think of things or stumble upon things, get ideas, I try and write down ideas like, oh yeah, I'm going to pop that into the box, or I'm going to find a supplier for that. Excuse me. So yeah, I guess I'm always thinking about the boxes in some way. If I'm not thinking about my club, I'm thinking about the boxes basically. And then the patterns sort of fit in amongst all of that. But yeah, so I'm always thinking about the boxes, and then sometimes I'm like, oh no, I'll put that in, the 12 days of bag making. And so I mentioned, was it last week I mentioned about the 12 days of bag making. So the 12 days of bag making is an advent box, and you get 12 individually wrapped items. So you can open them, one for each day for 12 days, one every other day, or some people even get the box and just open them all on Christmas Day. But this year we're going to do two options. And I think this might have been your idea, Deb. I'm going to put it down to you. I think it was your idea.
It was my idea.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely planted it.
You definitely planted it, yeah, and added loads of water and fertilizer to it, because we're going to do 24
I'm going to
days.
plant another idea in a second, and hold tight.
We're going to do 24 days of bag making this year as well, which is going to be the same but double dosage, obviously. And yeah, I'm so excited. And I know, Deb, I've showed you, because I had to show someone. I was like, what do you think about this? So I showed Deb the colour choices.
She'll ask us if I want to know what's in the bag maker's box, and I'm like, no.
You don't say no. You say yes, I'll forget.
Well, not all the time I don't. I'm like, I want some surprises.
Oh, I won't show you anymore. Yeah, and so yeah, I was just pulling it all together, and I got very excited, and I was like, yeah, I can totally do a 24 days with just more stuff that goes with it. So some of them not some of them, but a couple of them I think are going to be the same but very different, if that makes sense. So maybe the same thing but a different colorway or something like that. I think there's only two that are like that, but it will all go together. I don't know how to explain it without giving anything away, but yeah,
it's basically like add-on, isn't it? Like the 12 days is like a smaller version, and the 24 days is like a bigger version. It's just sort of like whichever one you kind of want to go for. And this is the little hint that's going, Andy, 24 days. Thanks very much, please. And I'll put the link in the description box down below, and that can be my Christmas present. Thanks very much.
There you go. You already know what's in there as well.
Well, you never know what to get us for Christmas, so there you go. Not even. Yeah. I was joking on about. I think it was on one of. I do sort of like vlogs. I'd go in like my club that I don't put like out on YouTube. And I was joking on about my friend, hinting when she sees me making anything, I'm like, oh, that's nice. Okay, all right. Like,
noted.
Like, oh, canny. So I'm not even hinting, I'm just telling.
Yeah. What I was quite surprised about, because obviously I've done the 12 days for 2 years, and I thought that still the 12 days would be the most popular, but when I put the post up on,
the 24 was really...
the 24 has been most popular,
I
which has
noticed that.
surprised me.
Yeah.
In
I was
a
going to
nice
message
way.
you and then I got sidetracked doing something else and I totally forgot.
That's all right. But yeah, both are going to be just as good. It's just obviously you're going to get more choice. I'm being very careful with my words.
Yeah.
More in obviously in the 24.
Yeah.
I was looking at different packaging options today and getting a little bit excited about that on a side note
Oh,
for
it's
it.
so hard though, isn't it, when you sort of like get an idea in your head
Mm.
to then not go down this huge rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Like I am really lucky that Andy is quite invested, whether he wants to be or not, in my business. Like, you know, obviously he's not in the business, but he
He
is
helps you a
kind
lot,
of.
doesn't he? So
Yeah,
here.
he
Yeah.
does. You know, like we'll sit and talk about things and I'll tell him ideas and then we'll work out that it's really not a very good idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I'll end up down this huge, great big rabbit hole that he ends up having to drag me back out of again. So I am very, very lucky. Like I'm
Yeah, I
very,
think
very
that's what I
grateful.
struggle with, is having someone to gel ideas about and like help with the packing and stuff. Like it's always, but I have to say my daughter has just moved up in her swimming squad. I now have to do, I know you know this, Deb, but I now have to do 2 morning swim runs, which are 6 to 7:30 in the morning,
Yeah,
which
that's a
I did
toughie.
this morning. So I had to get up at 5, which is joyful. But I'll be able to do a lot of packing while I'm sat in the cafe with no one else there,
Yeah.
just packing. So yeah, if you ever have any
Take your little boxes
podcasts,
along.
yeah, if you ever have any podcast recommendations, I love a podcast
Well,
because
this
I get
one.
into the zone. Yes, obviously, well, that goes without saying. But yeah, I love getting into the. I
That'll
actually really
hang.
like packing. It's weird.
Yeah, it can be a little bit mindful. Not so
Mm.
great when you're like up against it time wise, but
No, I don't like
it's
that.
good when it's, you know, you can just kind of get in the
Yeah,
zone and do it.
yeah.
So Laura's saying, I love listening to you too. It feels like a little insight into your world. Oh, Laura, you don't want to go there.
Oh.
Like I'm part of the gang. Oh, you're all part of the gang.
Oh.
Kathy says, Emma, what takes the most time? Online club, bag maker's box, or pattern creating, or something else?
Do you know what?
Ooh.
I would say it's pretty evenly split, and it really does depend on the sort of time of the quarter or the month or whatever. Because obviously, so the bag maker's box is every other month, it's bi-monthly, and that is
Mm-hmm.
for the customers, but it's also for me. It was very well thought out because I knew that I wouldn't be able to deliver every
Yeah.
month. It was too much. With everything else going on. So not only does it give the customer like a good 6 to 8 weeks in between your boxes to use the items, it also gives me time to order everything in, get everything sorted. I was doing it so that people were pre-ordering and I'd take the money before, but now I take the money right before the box is delivered, or a couple of weeks before the box is delivered, which makes everything run a lot smoother. But in terms of time, I would say probably pattern making is the still the chunk, because it does take the longest time. Pattern making, probably then the club, and then the box, I would say. But again, it does depend, because depending on the week, I'm like all in. Like the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be all in packing, get
Yeah.
everything, cutting the fabric that goes inside, and that kind of stuff. So
And if you
yeah,
have a time where kind of everything falls at once, if the club and a pattern and yeah, it
I have
just.
done, and that's
Mm-hmm.
when you just see me losing the plot.
Or you just don't see you.
You just don't see me, and you'll see big bags start to grow.
Yeah. So Donna's saying that, oh, she lives in Alabama.
Oh,
Wow.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Donna, if you're looking for, I'm sure there's embroidery clubs out there, if it's embroidery particularly, only because of your name. But both our memberships are all online. So
Mm.
I know Deb does a physical in-person meetup, but we both do online memberships. So we both have communities where you can come along and meet like-minded people. I know it's through a screen, but everybody else is in the same boat. Lots of my members don't have anybody locally, and that's why we both started our communities, isn't it?
I wonder if any of the American groups have any sort of
Physical
in-person meetups. Any
I've only seen like the classes, like Say Whatever are doing quite a few at the minute, aren't they? That's in Illinois, so I don't think that's very close.
My geography's not the best.
I don't think Illinois is very close to Alabama from my memory. Alabama's in the south, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Forgive my terrible. I should know. I lived in America in Illinois actually, but yeah, terrible.
Yeah, my geography.
Apologies, Donna. So Donna's part of my club, and so hopefully Donna, it bridges the distance by having everybody there, so you can chat to us. Yeah. And we do.
Donna lives out in North, beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, really beautiful.
Yeah, we had lots of holidays on the Norfolk Broads. Do you remember one time going into a nice little village that had a bridge as you went into it, and didn't check the water. No roof on the way out.
Oh, I see. Oh, you went on. I imagined going over. Sorry. Oh, you went under.
So fine going in and then coming out. Yeah, the water had gone up and there was no. Yeah, that's one of my earliest memories.
Yeah, that's a core memory right there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh. So
I think that's in relation.
Saying, that's to the sat nav. Yeah. Oh, let's quickly sort of make sure we go through everybody's comments. So Donna's saying she's waiting to order her 24 days box.
Thank you.
Stacey's saying she can't wait.
Yes.
Donna's saying can she order in the United States?
Unfortunately.
I'm going to put links into
the
description box. It might be tomorrow, so if you come back and check tomorrow, there will be an update with the links to everything that we've discussed.
Well,
we have commented about Sean's channel quite a bit throughout the discussion today, so I will put a link to Sean's channel in the description box as well, so you can go and check out Sean's. And I have had conversations with Sean about having Sean on the podcast in the next few weeks, so that we will sort out dates and what have you, so that will
I'll definitely be watching
at some point. Although unless we've put her totally off and she's like, absolutely not, that is not happening. And she's saying a Christmas box, where does she sign up? There will be a link in the description box.
So it hasn't actually launched yet, but the best way, if you're watching it immediately or live or in the next couple of days, is to go to the Studio 77 website, which I know you're going to link, and then join the mailing list, which is at the bottom, and then you'll be the first person to hear about it, because I'm going to launch it directly to the mailing list first and then socials.
Yeah, and then when it does go live, I'll go back in and update the description box. Only because I loves you.
Appreciate you.
Donna says, I want the full fat version. I've never been keen on diets of any description. I absolutely love that. You and me both, Donna. You and me both. I'm buying it for myself. That's where I get exactly what I want. More is always good, says Stacey. Very, very true. Mine refuses to help with events. Calls it my expensive hobby. Mine doesn't get a choice.
I use them.
Well, he probably does, but yeah, he's very good. He's so good. I've got to say that he's in the next room and he's moderating the chat.
What's quite funny is that I have a sticker on the back of my water bottle, because as you can see, I put all my stickers on there, but it's the sticker from the next box, and I realised, and I was like,
well, I was drinking a cup of tea, and I thought, I've got one of my sewing cups, and then I thought, some of them are naughty, and I was like, no, it's all right, it's not one of the naughty ones.
I think I've got some of yours. That's your sticker, isn't it?
That's one of mine. Yeah. That's one.
There you go. Pride of place.
Stacey says, are we meant to use the things in the box? I really must try that. No, they can be fondled. Sean will agree. Fabric fondling is a thing.
In fact, I've got one. Oh, this was from the last box.
Jane agrees. Chord and stroke. Oh yes, that's what I made
I just have it there so I can stroke it.
That's what I made my Vicky May with, isn't it?
Oh yes, yes.
Laura says, I haven't used mine either. They're too pretty and I'm worried that I'm going to mess it up. My daughter keeps asking for things made out of my pretty vinyls and I keep saying no as I want them all to myself. When me and Andy first got together, I did have to explain that fabric collecting and sewing are two different things, and sometimes
Absolutely.
they cross over and sometimes never the twain shall meet.
Indeed.
So Donna says, yes, it's in the south. She lives in a very small town. We have a Walmart and 2 grocery stores. Oh wow, that probably is quite rural.
Yeah.
Very good opportunity maybe is to have a look at some online communities to join and learn from. Yeah, and Lynn lives in the Scottish Highlands, for which I am quite jealous. Sean says, if you will still have me, sign me up. Mailing list, Christmas box, thank you. Yeah,
thank you, Sean.
I will drop you emails about dates and what have you. Obviously we haven't put her off just yet. Yeah, take out all the shinies and fondle.
It does.
That sounds wrong and out of context. So she obviously didn't spend long enough with us at the Festival of Quilts then. And Donna says, we get a Hobby Lobby, so can go and look at material. The Joanne's is 5 minutes away. Yeah.
45.
So 45 minutes, yeah. So we all get quite jealous, don't we, about the Joannes, the Hobby Lobbies, the Michaels. And
yeah, Donna, we don't have anything like that.
We have a Hobbycraft, but a lot of them are kind of dwindling and closing and not as good as what they used to be.
Yeah, I mean the fabric, you can't compare the two because the fabrics in Hobbycraft.
I've never been in one, so.
Oh, I mean it's different. It's very, very different. There's at least, well, I remember there was at least 2 or 3 rows of fabric. Correct me if I'm wrong, friends across the pond watching. But here, I mean, Hobbycraft is literally, you're lucky if you get 3 or 4 meters of fabrics, and it's mostly like cheap quilting cotton, not even great quality. But having said that, it is good for if you need cheap, quick fabric. It can be good just to pop in.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that I have Purple Stitches, and if you're in the UK, you will know that store for bag making, and that, but that's still about 40 minutes away driving, so it is a bit of a.
I'm quite lucky because I've got BST about 20 minutes from me, which is got quite a good selection.
That's
and
good.
I'm quite forward, believe it or not, and go in and go, can you get this in and can you get that in? I was literally just telling them that they need to sort out their vinyl selection because it's not great.
I love that.
So yeah, but it does have, it's massive. It's sort of like 4 units.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it has like Timeless Treasures, it has Nutex, Crafty Cotton. So I am very, very lucky that I can jump in the car and be there in 20 minutes.
I did go to what was it called? I went to a place in California. When I was in California, I went on a cruise in January with So Bestie, if you know them, and she took me to this amazing fabric shop in California, just south of LA. And I cannot remember the name of it, but I put it on Instagram, and it was just so crazy big that it got my reel got loads of views because everyone was like, "Where is this place? I want to go." So yeah, we don't have anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
Well, there's Abercorns, isn't there?
Well, we don't have. Yeah, see, down south we don't have any of that. You are quite lucky.
Biggest. Well, we don't have one near us, but the biggest one is in Wales, isn't it?
Oh, well, that would make sense. It sounds Welsh, doesn't it?
And I'm sure the biggest one's in Wales. And me and Andy are going to Wrexham in a few weeks' time.
Oh yes, you told me that.
Yeah, I might have talked him into having a little trip, leaving early, and then before we go to the hotel.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it'd be rude not to.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, it's content. I can go and take pictures and put them on social media and write a blog post, and you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you know, it's it's all, you know, it's kind of work.
Yeah, it is work, and yeah, it's for
Yeah,
business.
so yeah, so you know, you'll be doing me a favour, and I'll take him to Greg's and buy him some donuts to say thank you. That's the payoff.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So Laura's saying she went to Joanne's on a day off when she was working in the States and spent pretty much the whole afternoon there, completely different to anything here.
Yeah.
So
So actually, funny story. When I was making Chewy, I had to go to Texas to do a fitting on Peter. I don't know if this has changed, but I was the only cast or crew for any of the Star Wars films to go to his house, which was quite cool. Because he's got this, or they had a Chewy room with all like loads, like basically every memorabilia of Chewy that has ever been made. He would get sent one or whatever, and he'd sign them, or he'd just, so he had this like kind of mini museum on here. They
right,
live like on a ranch or a farm. Anyway, I had to go there and do a fitting because he couldn't. He was going somewhere else and blah blah blah. And I literally flew out for 2 days on my own. And they were like, "Oh, do you want to stay near the airport or do you want to be near the mall?" And I was like, "I want to be near the mall." And then on I went, must have got there. No, I got there Sunday night. The fitting was Tuesday morning. I think I must have gone Wednesday morning, so it was almost two full days. And Tuesday afternoon is when I did the fitting. Tuesday morning, I went to Joann's and spent the whole morning fabric shopping. I bought so much fabric because I was only there for a couple of days. I took a huge suitcase. It was absolutely amazing. And I remember finding the gym in the hotel and weighing my suitcase. Can I fit any more in?
well,
Yeah,
that's what gyms are for, isn't it?
yeah.
To
So I
weigh
was
your
literally
suitcase.
paid to shop. It was amazing.
Kathy's saying maybe the US Soul Friends can help the UKers get Joanne's stuff by post.
Yeah.
I know Sean gets a lot of stuff sent over, especially the patterns, because obviously patterns over here are a nightmare to get. So yes, Donna, there will
Oh,
be a
sorry.
way to get the
Yeah.
Christmas box sent
The only,
over to the States. The postage will be
mm,
different, obviously, than it is in the UK, but all of that will be on
it
the
will be
website
explained.
once it's all up there.
Unfortunately, so I do ship everything, all my boxes and everything go States and Canada and anywhere really. There's only a couple of countries I can't do for various reasons, but definitely USA and Canada is fine. But unfortunately, and I have no control over it, the shipping is astronomical and I hate it. Um,
It's a
yeah,
nightmare, isn't it? That's why
yeah,
I only ship to the UK.
it's a nightmare.
I just can't deal with the headache of
Yeah,
shipping outside of the UK. Like, cheers, Boris.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Laura says, I know it's not as cheap as Joanne's, but KA Fabrics are doing a swap shop with Enchanted Fabrics at the moment till the end of the month. Yeah, that's always a good thing to
Mm,
have a look at.
yeah, they're great.
Sean says, different Sean, Joanne used to deliver, for some reason they stopped. Yeah, that's probably down to Boris too. It will be something to do with postage and sorry.
Everything's
I'm my
fine.
mother's daughter. I'm so sorry.
You don't need to apologise. I
You'll
think
all get
everyone
used to
thinks
my
that.
sense of humour. Like, yeah, I don't have a filter. It will have to do with the postage and the it's all the customs, it's all those codes and everything that have to go in, and it
Oh,
is horrific. It
I
is a
have to say,
nightmare.
the customs thing, I do not enjoy it. I love that my stuff goes internationally and I always appreciate the orders, but yeah, the
It
customs,
just
and there's no help. There's no help
no,
at all. So you're just like, that's when I'm usually tearing my hair out going, what
yeah,
code is it? Because you try and you just have to hope that it's the right code because there's literally, they almost want you to slip up.
yeah, and I think that's why a lot of companies have stopped
Yeah.
both ways, and I think that's one of the reasons that Joanne's have
Yeah.
stopped. Donna says, I'm not jealous. Much nearer poor quality selection is at least 40 minutes away.
Mm.
Oh,
I'm the
but
same, Donna.
maybe it's a little bit better for the bank balance because I do find that when I go physically into a fabric shop, I buy fabric that then sits in my fabric stash.
Yeah.
And yeah. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And also when you
Donna
buy
says legit business expense, totally.
the donuts are totally
Yeah.
business expense as well. I find that when you buy online, you do tend to, unless it's like a special thing going on, you do tend to buy things that you really love.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps that you don't get swayed so much.
Do you know what I'm gutted I didn't buy? You know that blue fabric at the Festival of Quilts? It's
Which
rainbow fabric that I kept going back to.
Oh, has it gone?
Well, I can probably get it online, but you know, I
Yeah.
kept going back to it, and I was like, I was showing Andy on, and I
Go
wish I bought it.
if
I
you
think
have
I
you got
will
a pic
go.
I
I
was gonna
think I
say,
will go online and get it.
yeah, and if it's not on there, if you've got a picture of it, I bet you could Instagram message them.
Yeah,
They'd
I
help
think I
you.
will. I think I will message them.
Yeah. I was eyeing up
Um,
some sweater weather, isn't it, soon? So I was eyeing up some
it's been
some
sweater weather the whole summer. I mean,
That's
especially up here in the northeast. I mean,
Oh, that's
I think
true.
we've had like 3 hours of sun. That's been it.
Mm,
It's awful. I
yeah, it's
mean,
been
I'm
terrible.
going to have webbed feet before long. Um, Lynn says she's planning on a fabric hunt next time she's in the northeast. But going to custom fabrics the weekend. It's only an hour away, so she's so excited. I mean,
Oh,
fabric
that'd be
shopping
good.
is it's just the best thing ever.
Fabric
Fabric
smuggling.
smuggling.
Always.
Yeah. Um, rainbow
Oh,
fabric sometimes stock a bit of Joanne's fabric. Oh, don't you just love all the little
interesting.
nuggets of information that people throw
Yeah.
out that like, oh, I didn't know that. I get so
Oh,
excited.
stop it, Laura.
Fun fact, my hairdresser is also Boris and Carrie's hairdresser since they moved. Oh, I have the same opinion of him as you do.
Interesting.
I'll give you a really funny story. I probably shouldn't admit this on YouTube, but never mind, I'm going to. So I was at Alnwick Castle once a long time ago, and I was going up, into one of the turrets, and as we're walking up, Edwina Curry was coming down the other way, and I'm nearly 50, so like I know who Edwina Curry is. There might be some people watching who's like, who's Edwina Curry? Salmonella thing years and years
Yeah.
ago, Tory politician. John Major, need I say more? My mum is or was a very staunch Labour supporter. You know, I'm from the northeast of England, mining villages, that sort of thing. So gets to the top, and I was like, oh, I could have made my mum really proud with just a little quick shove as I walked past her. Because you can't mention the Tories like with my mum. She's very, very like she's massive, like Labour supporter. Like, you know, there's no so yeah, Boris isn't
Not
welcome.
flavour.
No,
Flavour of the month.
no.
Yeah, Mel's right. You could get it at Ali Pali. You could get the fabric at Ali Pali, unless it's sold out. Oh, sorry, I'm
What's
jumping
that?
ahead.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Where have I gone?
I've jumped
Who's
ahead.
gone?
Carry on. Don't mind me.
Right, so
I'm
on to
sorry.
Sean. My local post office now do custom forms digitally in store now, but I'm guessing you have too many parcels to send, so that might not work. Oh, but I wonder if you can maybe get the forms digitally online. Andy says Boris has a hairdresser? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Laura says, I know, I told her she needs to up her game. Melanie, you could get it at Ali Pali.
The fabric.
Yeah, but what from Rainbow? Yeah, but I won't be at Ali Pali.
Are you not going?
That's London.
I know, but are you not going to go?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
You can stay with me.
It's the weekend of me social.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure we could find a way in again.
Okay, keep on. You were so funny that
We
day.
won't talk about that. We're not talking about that.
Honestly, you make me howl. You really do make me howl. You are so funny. Sean says she went to Joanne's in May, ended up buying a new suitcase to come home.
Yeah.
Yeah, standard, isn't it?
Standard.
Donna says Edwina. Yeah.
Edwina. Oh dear.
Egg lady. Sean says Edwina Curry, egg lady. Yeah. And we definitely don't talk about Margaret Thatcher, Rabbi Mum. So, Donna says, when I go on vacation, I search for fabric stores in the area. Standard search. I search for fabric stores before I search for where I'm going to go on vacation. And empty my Honda Odyssey of everything except 2 bags of necessities and then come home with the vehicle full. I like your style, Donna.
It's amazing.
And I'm pretty sure that everybody else will think the same. Sean says, totally acceptable, Donna. And Kathy says, what's Ali Pally? It's a knitting and stitching show at Alexandra Palace.
Which is North London.
Yeah. And it's the 12th to the 15th of October. Is that right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it must be because the social is the 15th of October.
Okay.
On the Sunday. So Sean says fabric souvenirs are a must. Donna says fucking milk snatcher. Yeah. Yeah. I'm old enough to remember free school milk. I'm old enough to remember it being taken away. We shouldn't get into politics. We should not get into
It's too late for that.
Yeah. No matter.
That ship has sailed, Deb.
Oh, I'm just checking through my list of notes that I've got written down, and I think I've either asked them all, or the wonderful people in the comments have asked them all. So you have done my job for me. I mean, how good's that? That's amazing. So yeah, and there's there was only really the 12 days of bag making that I really wanted to kind of make sure that we touched on, because obviously we knew that was coming up. So like say, if you are interested in that, make sure that you are signed up to the newsletter, and when you do release the information, I will come back into the description box and I will post the links as well. So for anybody listening back, you will just be able to go in and go direct to those links.
Thank you.
It's been fabulous chatting to you.
It has. Lots of
fun. I hope everybody's enjoyed our mad ramblings. I think we should just start another podcast and just have our mad ramblings every now and then as well.
Yeah, let's do
it. So yeah, thank you to everybody who's listened. And Andy's asking, can you get an original Deadpool costume? Is Deadpool mad?
Deadpool has been all over my feed. A lot of my colleagues did work on Deadpool, and we went to see it on the other night. And I was a bit like, oh, I really miss working in the film industry. And then the day after, Ryan Reynolds then posted, I don't know if you saw, he posted a thing saying how much he loved the costume department and how amazing they all were and everything. And I was like, that never happens. Like, he must be a genuinely nice guy, because that is so rare that the behind the scenes get kind of noticed and stuff.
I think he does come across. He does really come across that way.
Yeah,
I think. You know, it would be hard to keep that up in everything that you see.
Yeah,
like I'm doing. I think it would be hard to kind of keep.
You know, it's quite rare actually that people are that, like, I've worked with a lot of people that I won't say names that are not as nice. I've worked with some really, really lovely people, but a lot of people that are not as nice. Yeah, it's all about Wicked, Deadpool, Beetlejuice. What's the other one I've seen? No, that's it. That's all the big ones that are coming out, isn't it? That's everyone's very excited about. The lovely Nick, who was in Iggle Piggle. If you're in the UK and you're a parent, you're going to know what I'm talking about. If you're not, you're probably not. You're probably not.
You're traumatized remembering Iggle Piggle.
But that was a character that I helped to make. So I looked after Nick for like a year and a half on set. And you become really close with people when you're looking after them, because you have to remember he literally couldn't use his hands. His hands are inside the Eagle Pickle's paws and stuff. So yeah, you kind of you become really close to people. Anyway, he is Bob in Beetlejuice, which is really cool.
Oh.
So I've seen the Bob is the guy with the shrunken head.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
he sounds like he's been having lots of fun with that. So yeah, I'm excited to
Oh,
see
that was
that.
so
I'm
much
really
fun
happy
to
for
go
him.
and see.
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
So.
Andy's a massive Deadpool fan, but he's been to see it without me, which is a bit controversial.
Rude. Have you been to see it, Deb?
No, not yet.
All I will say is that there are a lot of good costumes in it.
Yeah, it
I
looks
really like the
amazing.
costumes. Yeah.
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 I mean, Ryan Reynolds in a skin tight red costume. I mean, what's not to like?
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks fun. But yeah, I know I haven't seen it. Andy went to see it without me.
I will say I did get a call a couple of years ago.
He went to see it with his son. I'm totally like
You're ribbing him.
Yeah.
I did get a call a couple of years ago from someone that was working on it. I won't say the name. And they just said, "Are you available today?" And I was like, "No." I was full on into my membership, and now I'm like, "Oh." But I don't regret any decisions. I'm so happy to have left the industry, as it's quite rare. And then I think about it for 5 minutes, and then I go, "No." I'm very happy where I am.
It's the same for me. Like, obviously, like I left what I was doing pre-COVID and now do what I do. And there's times where I kind of miss it. And and then
Then you remember why you left. Yeah.
Yeah. There's little but then the things that I miss I have here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
No.
but I mean, if Ryan Reynolds came so but yeah, no, I've so enjoyed our chat tonight, and
yeah, me too.
by the comments, so have everybody else. Everybody's saying that they've really loved the chat, and yeah, it's been lovely. So next week we have a lovely lady who is been in the chat this evening as well. We have the lovely Melanie, who does so much within the sewing community. I rave so much about community because I love it so much. But Melanie does so much within the sewing community. She does Surrey Sews. She does so much within different areas within the sewing community. And yeah, we're going to chat with her about different things that she does, not just within bag making, lots of different areas. And yeah, I hope you can join us then and hear about her sewing journey. So thank you again, and I will see you next week at 8 o'clock. See you soon. Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much.